Hey, you know, I really love my snowblower. It's a Troy Bilt 2410. It does an amazing job. It's an absolute workhorse when it works. Unfortunately, this one doesn't work very well right now. And it's 100% my fault. When I finished using it last year and put it away for the summer, I forgot to drain the fuel out of the gas tank. And this is a big mistake because now that fuel sits in the carburetor over the summer and turns into a varnish on the inside little tiny orifices in that carburetor. And now the thing doesn't run very well at all. You can see in these clips that it's got a real problem with bucking and surging. And it's down on power. And no matter how I fiddle with either the throttle or the choke, it just doesn't run very well. So in this video, I'm going to show you how easy it is to replace the carburetor on a snowblower like this. Let's get started. Here's all the tools we're going to be using for completing this job. A pair of gloves to keep our hands clean, vice grips to pinch off the fuel line. Then we're going to have a couple of different kinds of pliers. Needle nose and regular are going to be useful for us. There's one little area where a panel removal tool like this is really helpful. If you don't have one of these, they're really inexpensive and they're amazing tools to have on hand for all kinds of other projects. I recommend you pick one up, but if you don't have one, maybe a flathead screwdriver will also be able to get the job done here. This is a Phillips head screwdriver. You're going to definitely need that. And then the old 10mm socket, of course, you're going to have one of these. Don't lose it. And if you have an extension, that's going to be helpful as well. And then a ratchet to drive the socket. There's going to be some messy parts, so I like to have a pile of rags on hand. And then there might be some areas where we need a couple of other various things, like some side cutters, some different shaped pliers, and some picks. But this should be all we need to finish the job. There's a series of 10mm bolts that are holding on this plastic cover. There's one here. There's one deep inside this little recess right here. And then there are two more on the sides that we'll go to in just a minute. So we'll start by removing these guys. Before we remove the next two bolts, there's a small slot right in the slider area here for the throttle, sort of right in the middle, that is going to allow us to slide this plastic cover over the throttle knob so we don't have to take this knob off. Feel in there with your finger, you'll feel there's a little slot cut out of it right where my finger is here, and what you do is just line this up with that slot, and then we'll be able to pull this off without removing that handle. Next, we're going to take off these two 10mm that are holding this side on. It's important to note that the two that are slightly longer come from the rear portion of the engine shroud, and the two that are a little shorter are the ones that I just took out of these holes here. Make sure when you go to put them back in, you put the long ones in the correct holes. Otherwise things won't fit quite right. Next we'll remove this choke knob and just pay attention to what it's pointing to. Mine's pointing at run right now. You could have it pointed directly up to the full choke if you wanted. The important point here is just make sure you know what it's pointed at, so when you go to put it back on, you put it on in the same orientation. It's removed with a simple panel removal tool like this. Slide it underneath and sort of work it. It pulls straight up off of the shaft that it's connected to in there. It takes a lot of force, a lot more than you might think. With that knob removed, now we can pull off this whole shroud. Now there's a couple of things to pay attention to. First, there is a little post right inside here. You're going to need to lift this up and over. But before you do that, also make sure that you've got your throttle lever lined up with that little notch that I talked about earlier. So we're going to lift this sort of up and over that post. And as we do that, it should come more or less free. Once you get this plastic piece a little bit more loose, you'll be able to put a couple of fingers up in there and find that there are two little tube looking things like this. This first one right here that's got sort of a braided finish to it, that is an electrical connector, and we're going to leave that alone for now. This other connector is what gets connected to the back of the bulb right here that is used to prime the carburetor. So if you reach up in behind where that bulb is, you'll find this little barbed fitting right here, and that's where that little hose is connected. Be very gentle as you disconnect this. You don't want to rip or tear that hose, and it might take a little bit more force than you expect to pull it off, but it should come off in one piece, and I found it easiest to disconnect right there at the back of the bulb. So once you have this tube disconnected, then you'll be able to just take the shroud with the electrical still connected and just sort of pull it over here and out of the way, and it can stay there while we do the rest of the repair. We're going to be removing this component, so I'm going to pull this electrical connector out of that little clip on the side. And next there's just these two Phillips screws to remove. And then you have two 10 mil nuts that we're going to be removing here. Now these are threading on not just this plastic piece, but they are also holding the whole carburetor to the engine. Be careful you don't drop things. Next we're going to try and gently remove this plastic guy. There we go. And there are some small bushings that are sort of connected to this gasket. Make sure you don't lose these. There we go. These little bushings actually belong not on the floor. No, I dropped it. So these little bushings here, there's two of them. I'm going to try and push them back into these holes from the back side there. There we go. There's that one. Let's see if I can get this other one free. There we go. And we'll just leave them in there for when we are ready to reassemble. Then we can just push this up and out of our way. I'm going to pull this gasket off. Okay, we can begin now to walk the carburetor off these two studs that are mounted into the side of the engine block. There's a couple of things that are still connecting the carburetor though. The first is the fuel line here over on the side, and then there's a small spring up top here. We're going to need to disconnect both of those. These two little rods, one's a rod and one's a spring, and we need to remove them from this arm. The easiest way to do this is to swing the arm all the way that direction with one finger, and while you're holding it, you can lift this other rod right out. Like that. And then the spring, I'm going to use a pair of needle nose pliers and just be as gentle as I possibly can to try and get this out without permanently bending that or deflecting it, but these are really, really fragile. There we go. I bent it a little bit, but I can always bend it back. So now we're ready to remove the fuel line. I'm going to grab a pair of vice grips with flat jaws like this and squeeze that fuel line enough to pinch it off, but not enough to damage the line. We just want to make sure it doesn't dump too much fuel out. I've also got some extra rags here handy. The next I'm going to remove this hose clamp, just squeeze it and move it farther up the hose so it's out of our way. And then we just have to sort of wiggle and jiggle to get this fuel line off the carburetor inlet. Might have to get out some of my camping words for this one. It's tight. And then since this is just full of a bunch of old bad fuel, I've got this gas can here, and we will try and get as much of this into this gas can as we can without making too huge of a mess all over the garage floor. With everything disconnected, the carburetor should just slide right off now. There we go. So here's the old carburetor completely removed, and before we get ready to install the new carburetor, I want to compare the old one with the new one to make sure I've got the right replacement part. And as far as I can tell, they do look exactly the same. Everything lines up properly. You know, there's a couple of things I have to transfer from the old one to the new, but the bolt holes all line up. The location for the inlet for the fuel is the same. The location for the little hose that goes to the bulb is identical. Everything looks like it's going to be exactly correct. Let's go over what comes with the new carburetor, because it comes with a few extra things. First you have the carburetor body itself, but then you also have a new priming bulb and a new tube to connect that priming bulb, though I think I'm going to use the tube from the old carburetor because it's molded correctly already for the route that it was going to want to take, and it's a little bit longer than the replacement, so I'm going to try and reuse the existing tube. The new carburetor also came with a variety of different gaskets. It also comes with a couple of extra little hose clamps. These are for the tube that connects to the priming bulb, and I'll probably go ahead and use these just to have a little extra security. Transferring the small hose that connects to the priming bulb was very easy. I just gently pulled it off the barb of the old carburetor, added some of those new hose clamps, and then installed it on the new carburetor. However, swapping the choke control shaft was, well, harder. The release tabs are in a really awkward position, and I found it impossible to depress them both at the same time and pull the shaft out of its retainer. So getting this thing out was a real adventure on the struggle bus, let's put it that way. What I ultimately wound up doing is using a pair of little cutters like this to cut some of the old carburetor mount thing, and when I did that, then I could just peel this thing out. And I did it that way because I need to preserve these little locking tabs As I put it into the new carburetor, I need to make sure that it's going to lock in correctly. So I made sure to be real gentle with those tabs. And let's see if that'll lock in and click and be real satisfying. Yeah, that's in and being retained perfectly. All right, I've swapped everything over, so we're just about ready to install the new carburetor. But first, gaskets. I removed this gasket that sits between the carburetor body and the engine block. Now, gasket orientations can be tricky, so before I pull this completely off the engine, I'm going to take the new gasket and just make sure that the holes line up and everything looks like it's going to fit. And it does, so I'll go ahead and pull the old one off and we'll slide the new one on. Now, from here on out, putting everything back together is just the reverse of how I took it all apart. I was careful to make sure that I rebent the small spring as I reconnected the carb linkages, and I made sure to install another new gasket on the front side of the carburetor just before the air intake as well. The rest of the reassembly is very straightforward. Just make sure you put the correct length bolts back into the shroud that I mentioned earlier, and that you install the choke switch in the correct orientation. So now we'll put just a little bit of fresh fuel in it just to test to see if it's going to run properly. And I'm really happy to see that after just a couple of pulls, it started right up. And as soon as it warmed up just a little bit, I could turn the choke completely off and run full throttle, and it runs nice and smooth now. Alright, well, as you can see, swapping a carburetor on a snowblower like this is not a very difficult job. There's a few fiddly bits to it, but it's not that hard. If you've enjoyed this video, you can let me know about that with a thumbs up down below, and if you've got ideas for things I could be doing differently or other things I can do to make this snowblower better, like maybe I should install a fuel cutoff valve. That would prevent this from happening in the future. Maybe you can tell me about that down in the comments down below. And of course, if you want to see more videos like this, you can think about subscribing, but there's never any pressure from me to do that, of course. And as always, thanks so much for watching. I'm really excited for when the snow starts to fly. I know that's a weird thing to say. Most people hate it, but I actually enjoy getting out there and clearing off the walks and sidewalks and driveways and byways and sideways and highways. No, I don't. Just my own driveway. So in this video, I'm going to show you how easy it is to replace a carburetor. That's warm with just running it. Ow. It's 100% my fault. I just tapped the microphone. Was that loud? Did that hurt your ears? I'm sorry. Let me try that again.